Alright, boys. You know, some streamers do this thing where they put like an offline graphic or like a setting up graphic, and then they do a bunch of bullshit. I just kind of have my face so you guys can see how little I'm actually fucking doing. My bad. Yeah, I gotta figure out what to do today. Here's where we're at with the game design and the bazaar. Alright, it's very stressful for me. I am not satisfied with the fun level of the current class. Like, the class that I've fleshed out the most is Wizard. I basically have only been working on one class. My thinking is, like, rather than trying to design 7 classes at once, it's better to, like, design one class really well and then copy a similar framework and quantities of cards. I'll basically have, like, a skeleton from the successful class. I can replicate that on the other classes. Because if I try designing multiple classes at once and I like change a design philosophy early, I'll have to like redo multiple classes, not just one. And I'm not like fully satisfied with where Wizard is right now. I'm trying to figure out how I can make it more fun. Maybe I'll just show it to you guys. Here, hold on. So basically one of the things that, I don't know, maybe one of you guys has ideas. I'll just kind of spitball. I don't know, when you get writer's block, I think Twitch chat can be helpful with that. So right now, like, we basically added these subtypes. So on the bottom of a card, when I hover over it, that's the tooltip. If you see on the bottom there, it says Alchemy Storm. Those are the different subtypes of the card. So this is an Ice card, this is an Alchemy card, this is an Alchemy Storm card. The mechanic combo basically means you get a bonus if you've played another card that shares a subtype. That was my way of implementing more of like a synergy approach to drafting cards. And basically, how do I like phrase this problem? Like, a little bit too often, the right strategy became just picking cards that share a type with something you've already bought. It's like if I bought some Alchemy cards, I should just buy more, you know? It's like here I'm going Alchemy Ice right now. See, this card's also Ice, so I want to take that. So just kind of want to like keep picking these and kind of ignoring the Storm cards, right? And I'm trying to figure out like some sort of solution to this, because how do I put it? Like, I want people to be able to draft decks that have a unique play style, and not just like, I don't want the best strategy to just be, okay, pick all the cards that share a type with cards you've already bought. I think that's like less interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that. What balance are you looking for between total disregard of subtypes and where the game is now? I don't really care either way. I just want the game to be as fun as possible. So if the most fun version of it has like, you know, almost no subtype synergy, or if the most fun version is like mostly subtypes, I don't really have a preference one way or the other. I just want it to be fun, you know. When is the next guitar stream? Dude, when was the last guitar stream? I don't know. I'm too self-conscious about my guitar playing. I'm pretty bad at it now. I haven't done it in too long. Somebody yesterday said Smash Mouth is the greatest band to have their careers ruined by Shrek. What a way to go out. Somebody said show the setup. So this is the Skytech PC they sent over. Great computer. I have just like a Rat King worth of wires back here. 10 out of 10 cable management. Speaker on each side. The Scarlett with the mic plugs into. I have the mic itself. I have a sweet curved monitor that I use as the main monitor. I've got a BenQ that I've had for a while here on the other side. Tablet set up over there. Water, Fapkins. This thing that I will get to make good tea one of these days. Snack bar in the back. Open can. Magical trash can. Surfboard couch. Yeah. How do I become successful like you, 25-year-old uneducated loser living with my mom here? I mean, I was an uneducated loser when I was 22. Like, you want to know the honest answer every time I get questions like this? A lot of people ask me, too, like, about my path to, like, where I am. Like, I don't think I'm, like, crazy successful. I do okay. Like, I can pay rent comfortably, so it's, like, a step up from where it was. But, how do I put it? Like, you can't, like, replicate my journey and be successful, you know? Like, everybody's path is kind of different depending on where they're at. And, like, for me, I got away with doing a lot of stupid... Like, there's no way for me to, like, honestly answer it without being, like, incredibly arrogant, you know? I'm not, like, how do I put this? Like, I would never brag about intelligence because I think, for the most part, it's not really under a person's control, right? It's like bragging about being tall. It's like, you didn't choose to do that. You're just, like, born that way or you're not. It's not binary, it's like a spectrum, right? Basically, like, I kind of high rolled on like smartness, like the processor in my brain when I was born. It's let me get away with doing a lot of stupid shit that I wouldn't recommend other people do, because I could like dig my way out of it, right? Like, how do I put it? Let's say a guy is born and just like genetically, he's like 8 feet tall and like 300 pounds of muscle, right? And he gets into bar fights all the time, and he always wins bar fights. That doesn't mean that like other people should be getting into bar fights. They're not gonna win those fights. You get what I'm saying? So like, the range of good decisions that I had was like way wider than most people, because I could get away with shit on the extreme ends of the spectrum sometimes, not always, if that kind of makes sense. So like, do I recommend you start your own company? Fuck no. I barely made it work. And if I was 10% dumber, it would have gone up in flames, if that makes sense. It's not me like bragging about it. It's not something to be proud of. It's like just the way I was born, but like it let me get away with doing things that, I know it doesn't really help you like answer your question. I mean, the honest answer is you have to, every time people ask me how they succeed in life, like almost always I feel like they already know the answer to that. They already know the things that they should be doing to progress in life. Yeah, you want to be happy, you want to be fulfilled, you want to get girls and all that shit. Like, you know you're going to have to exercise, get up off your ass, start building a skill, you know, go to school, work hard. But the truth is, it's like, it's a lot like my little fucking T thing right here. My T thing right here is at equilibrium, right? And for a lot of people, let's say their house burns down and they have no money and they're starving and all of that, you fall out of balance, right? And then since like this thing is low, your situation is shitty, this person's gonna, like my left hand is effort. This person's gonna work hard to re-stabilize, you know? They're gonna work hard and make their situation better and better and better. They're gonna do smart things. And then this thing raises, right? Their situation improves. They get a house, they get some knowledge, a good job, they fucking dig their way out of that shit. And then they reach like the point of like comfort, where they acclimate to their surroundings and like things are good. But then like, God, how do I describe this? If you're 25 years old and you're living at home with your mom, like you're not worried about where your next meal is coming from. You're not worried about having shelter over your head. You're like comfortable, right? You know that it's gonna take you a lot of effort to improve your situation. Like you're gonna have to do so much fucking work to get in good shape and get a degree and whatever. Like it's just a lot of work. How do I put this? The T thing wasn't a good example. It's more like an equilibrium. It's like, or a scale? I guess a scale is what I mean. So like, most people know how to improve their situation, but the amount of work that it would take to improve their situation is not worth it to them. That's basically what I'm saying. So like, you would rather be where you're at in life and comfortable and like complacent. You would rather be in that scenario than work 10 times as hard and be 10 times as successful, if that makes sense. I didn't really communicate that well, but why take risks when you're comfortable? It's not about risks. It's like effort, you know? I'm not saying that like I always work hard either, right? Like I know that I'm not happy with where my body is at, like physically. Like I want to be in better shape. I want to be healthier. But I also know the amount of work it's going to take to do that. And like, I could just sit here and shove Rice Krispies in my face and be ashamed of myself. Or I could work 10 times as hard and then like improve my body. What I'm basically saying is like, how much you want it has to outweigh how much you don't want to do the work. Does that sort of make sense? Because nobody wants to do the work. TLDR, yeah, it takes work, and you know damn well what you need to do to be successful. But the amount that you don't want to do the work currently outweighs how much you want to be successful, in my opinion. Like, the worst problem I had in my life was, like, I lived about a week where I didn't know if I'd have a place to stay a week from then. Like, I didn't know if I'd have a roof over my head. I didn't know where my next meal was coming from for, like, a week. And I was working at McDonald's, and they wouldn't give us free food. You had to pay food, like, you had to pay half the price of the meal. I didn't have any money. So I would go back to, like, the coffee machine when people weren't looking, and I would just push the creamer button, and I would fill up, like, half a coffee cup full of creamer, and I would just drink creamer. I did that shit for, like, a week. And basically 6 months after that point, like, basically that was, like, a low point, right? I was really, like, scared and hungry all the time, and it was, like, a bad place. And survival instincts kicked in, and they made me better. So within 6 months, like, I got my shit together. I worked 50 times harder. I told myself I'd never be in a situation like that again. I had a car. I was working towards a long-term goal with Twitch at that point. So my viewership was within like 9 months spiked because of that. I got a way better job, tripled my pay, got multiple raises. I don't know. Basically, I just worked like 50 times harder than everyone, and I was always the best at what I did by a big margin. It's like I would have ended up running the Jimmy John's I was at within a year. So it's not really like, for me, that was like a catalyst, you know? It was like getting in a really bad spot made me work really hard. But if I was just like comfortable living at home, wasn't worried about food and all that, I probably would have continued being a lazy piece of shit, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Tips on enjoying high school? I fucking hated it, so I don't know, I'm the wrong person to ask. Tips on enjoying high school? Here's like a really high-level tip. It applies to adults too. In my experience, the most powerful human emotion, the human emotion that dictates human behavior, the things that you do more than anything else, is insecurity. Because we evolved to live in these little tribes of like 20 people, and if you got kicked out of the tribe, you would die. So we really, really want to fit into the tribe. And basically, the younger you are, the stronger that feeling of insecurity is. So when applied to business, like, this is why I think the makeup industry is like one of the most stable ever. Like, it will never die. Makeup industry will never go anywhere. People always want to look better. Anything that's like a cosmetic improvement on your body or your face will always have success. This is why I think virtual reality has not grown that big, because you look like a fucking idiot while you're wearing it. I can't wear my VR headset on my plane without looking like a fucking goober. To answer your question of how do you enjoy high school, like, basically be self-aware enough to understand that that's just how your brain works right now. You're super insecure about everything. You really care a lot about what people around you think about you. Everything feels awkward. Everything feels cringy, or at least a lot of things do. And the older you get, the less of that you feel, but you're still going to be insecure about lots of things even as you get older. Basically, if you can like be aware of insecurity and try to not let it stop you from enjoying yourself, then that'll be good. And just keep in mind that like the opposite of insecurity, you know, like self-confidence, is very attractive, like socially, romantically. So if you let it impact your behavior less and less, or at least work towards that, you'll fit in more socially, you'll get laid, high school will be more enjoyable probably. What Soylent flavor do I drink to get your physique omega lol? You calling me a soy boy, Seathrall? What makes you want to change your current Soylent flavor? Thought you were a fan of cum. My favorite emails are like, Reynad, I started an esports team. How do esports teams make money? It's like, if you don't know how your own business works, don't fucking start it. It's the path to failure. How do I find a female that doesn't want to have sex? Great question, man. I've never found in my life. I've hooked up with every woman I've ever interacted with. Eat ass on the first day of the university. I've never eaten ass. I don't plan on it. I do not need vitamin A in my system. Impress her with your poisonous tea. You guys can shit talk my poisonous tea all you want, but that shit is going to give me superpowers. Superpowers that you can only receive from ingesting volatile chemicals from a Chinese factory. Just give me $5 for the idea? Sure, man. You want to know the real magic here, Massey? That $5 is already in your pocket right now. Because you know what a sub to a channel costs? To this channel? $5. And I know that if you had $5 in your hand right now, you would use that to sub to me. Of course you would. Who wouldn't? Well, thanks to Twitch Prime. You can subscribe for free right now. And now we're even. You made poker. No, I did. I quit Hearthstone. It's a tilting game. Oh, is it now? Is it? I screamed that shit for 4 years, and I'm just a salty little bitch. But now it's cool to hate on the game. I call it an RNG piece of shit. Oh, everyone's doing it. Let's play auto chess instead. Yeah, fuck Reynad, though. He wasn't ahead of the fuck Hearthstone meta by 4 years or anything. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have a kitchen sink upstairs. I only have a bathroom sink. And I didn't want my trash can to smell like ramen. So I poured the bottom of the ramen into the bathroom sink, but it had pieces of corn, and then the pieces of corn got stuck in the fucking drain. So I basically put one of my sinks out of commission, and now I'm salty, and I'm paranoid about ordering ramen again. But it was good ramen. Why didn't you dump it in the toilet? Oh my god, you're a genius. I'm gonna remember that. So many dinging sounds, it feels like I'm in Chatterbait. Yeah, well, I don't really advertise it, but I do have a little bit of a gadget taped to my nutsack. So every time you sub, it's a good time for me. But, you know, usually I enjoy that in private. It's not something I advertise. Oh, that one tickled. Not something I usually advertise. I hope you guys have liked hanging out and chatting. I don't know, do you guys like videos like this, or would you prefer I did things? Did you put the ceiling fan there, or did it come with the place? It's actually a lamp-shaped plant. I water it every morning. What are you doing? Tickling Spotify and its balls, just in case people ask me what song is playing again. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Later.